Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Hypatia Investathon. Today we're diving deep into the world of budgeting, explaining it and giving you effective strategies to create a budget that will help you on your journey to future financial freedom. The important thing is to put together a simple budget that you can actually stick to.
Hypatia Investathon recommends the well-known 50-30-20 model.
But before we dive into budgeting, let's explain why it is so important. An easy example to understand is like this. Imagine two women who are both doing their weekly grocery shopping. One has created a list of all the things that she needs to limit her time in the store and ensure that the trip is successful. The other is going in without a list and just a few food items floating around in the back of her head. Which woman do you think is going to have a more successful shopping trip? That's right, the woman with the list, because she can account for and make sure that she has everything before she leaves. The woman without a list, however, will likely get home and realize she forgot about 3 things. That is why budgeting works. It's the plan that lets you understand where the money you have is going to. It helps you think in advance about the best use of your money so that you're making decisions about how to use your money when you're in the right frame of mind instead of when you're in line at the checkout counter or professional advertising is trying to convince you a want is really a need. The 50-30-20 model is a simple and easy. It really goes back to preschool, knowing the difference between needs and want. First, divide your after-tax income into 3 buckets. 50% of your income is going to go towards needs. These are things that you cannot live without, like food and housing. 30% of your income is going to go to wants. These are things that make life a little more enjoyable, like brunch with friends or a new book, dress, or even a massage. 20% is going to go towards putting money away for your future. Now, when you first take a look at your finances, you may find that you are nowhere near these percentages. That's okay. We all have to start somewhere, so being clear about where you are is already a great first step. Okay, let's dig deeper into the 3 categories. As we said, the first category are your needs. Ideally, your needs should be no more than 50% of your after-tax income. Again, these are things that you cannot live without and bills you must pay regularly. So food, medication, transportation, internet, rent, mortgage, and utilities. So what do you do if you find your needs are more than 50% of your income? Then it becomes really difficult to both spend on wants and save money. You may need to either reevaluate your cost of living or look for ways that you can increase your income so that you can support your current living situation. One thing that may be helpful is to narrow in on your biggest expenses and see if there are ways to reduce them. Could you trade your car in for something more affordable or get a better rate on your insurance? Can you find a less expensive apartment? Can you change your transportation costs? Next, let's talk about your wants. Your wants are ideally about 30% of your after-tax income, and this is your fun money. This includes things like going out to the movies, restaurants, buying a new outfit, that morning latte. That is not a need. You get the gist. It is actually a very important part of your budget to consider, as enjoying life is certainly a part of being happy. But in order for the spending on wants to be sustainable, it needs to fit in with both your income as well as the need to enjoy life in the future. In other words, we need to make sure that us enjoying our life today doesn't limit our ability to enjoy life in the future because we've accidentally overspent and created debt or financial insecurity. So, if you are finding that your wants are taking up more than 30 of your income, try to find cheaper alternatives to things that you enjoy buying or doing. For example, instead of going out with your friends, offer to host a night at home. Instead of buying a new summer wardrobe, check out the thrift shops first. Remember, it is a balance. Finally, the third category is your investments. Ideally, you're able to put 20% of your after-tax income towards investments, and this is money that is strategically put aside to take care of future you. It's really easy to forget to think long-term when putting together a budget. But the goal isn't to just survive the month, it's also to make life easier for future you by building wealth and long-term financial security. So what do we do with this 20%? First, some special advice for anyone who is currently carrying credit card debt. You will want to put this portion of your budget towards paying off that debt rather than simply building up your savings and investments. This is because the interest rate on credit cards is so high that it doesn't really make financial sense to have money sitting in savings, while also paying high interest rates on credit card debt. Second, if you must also have an emergency fund, this fund should be 3 to 6 months of expenses. Why? Because if you hit an unexpected expense, such a medical bill or other unforeseen circumstance, you don't want to have to go into high interest debt. It also is meant to hold you through an unfortunate situation of losing your job or income. Finally, once you have jumped over the two first hurdles, you are on your way to start investing. Where to put that money? Stay with us on the Hypatia Investathon to continue with the free financial literacy course to future financial freedom. So, to recap, the 50-30-20 model is a super easy way to start budgeting. Aim to spend 50% of your income on needs, 30% on wants, and put 20% into your savings strategy. Get started by figuring out everything you spend money on and seeing where you fall in the 50/30ths. Use this information to help you make spending decisions every single week. It is important to remember that wealth doesn't happen overnight, but in fact, it's built by the small actions and decisions that you make every single day. And the 50-30-20 method is a great way to get organized and begin your journey to future financial freedom. Hypatia Investathon is here to give you information to put you and keep you on that path.